Hi, I'm Cameron, and I don't just read comics. I love them. Welcome back to another episode of Cameron Reads Comics. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about Spider-Man Human Torch, the mini-series by Dan Slott and Ty Templeton. If you've been listening to my podcast or watching my channel, you'll know that I'm a huge Dan Slott fan. I liked his Spider-Man, and I adored his Fantastic Four runs. So when I found out there was a Spider-Man Human Torch mini-series, I knew that I wanted to pick that up. So when it comes for accessibility, you really don't need to know much going into this. Notoriously, Spider-Man has been teamed up with the Fantastic Four literally since Amazing Spider-Man #1. They rejected him in that issue, but they've had a rapport ever since. On many occasions, and Johnny Storm in canon is kind of his best friend. In my opinion, I think they are the best friends of the Marvel Universe. And then it goes Luke Cage and Iron Fist. But we're not talking about that yet. It may help to know some Marvel history stuff, but this series in itself is an anthology series, and so it's only 5 issues, and it spans over, different decades with different artists. It's actually really awesome. So, or like same artist, but different styles. You know what I mean. If you know some of that Marvel history, it'll help you in this series. Okay, as for the story, this is an anthology series, meaning each issue takes place at a different point in time. Issue #1 is Steve Ditko era Spider-Man, Kirby era Fantastic Four, so the art style replicates that. Issue #2, it's John Romita Sr. era Spidey. 3, post-Gwen Stacy death, Roger Stern era Spider-Man. 4, symbiote Spider-Man and John Byrne Fantastic Four era Johnny Storm. And then 5 is about actually the modern age. Or it's not really... Issue #5 is not really about, the modern age. It's really just more of a current continuity. I personally love an anthology series like this that really celebrates just two people over time being friends. I think it doesn't need to be more complicated than that to tell a good story. I really think Dan Slott nails the relationships and characterizations of both of these characters, along with poking fun at tropes that existed at those points in time. There is an amazing panel about Paste Pot Pete where Spider-Man just bursts up laughing. You may have seen this on the internet. It's so good and so funny. Slott leans into these relationships in the comics as they're happening as well. Johnny doesn't like Peter Parker when they first meet, which is actually a really funny trope. And he also isn't a huge fan of Spider-Man, so he tries to beat out Spider-Man by literally hiring Peter to be his photographer. It's hilarious. In one issue, they switch places. Pete gets chewed out by the Fantastic Four, and Johnny gets celebrated for taking down Kraven. In issue #5, it may be my favorite issue. It's a great story of Peter revealing his identity to Johnny because he needs the Human Torch to rescue Peter, not Spider-Man. And then the series ends on a note that I like, and as I see Johnny and Peter, not only as friends, but as family. I'll spoil it. The Fantastic Four have Peter, Mary Jane, and Aunt May over at the Baxter Building for dinner. So it's really fun. Dan Slott always seems to sneak in a line about Peter or Spider-Man talking to Franklin Richards at the time and telling him about how he had an Uncle Ben too. And I'm like, oh, come on. And in that example, he's talking about Ben Grimm the Thing. It's just so sweet. As for the art... The Ty Templeton is one of the most underrated artists in the industry. Long time Marvel DC artist. A main Dan Slott collaborator, as he was also on Dan's She-Hulk run. I really like Ty Templeton on She-Hulk. He adapts his style throughout this series to pay homage to the creators of the time while making it so consistent and amazing, which is so hard. He 5 different eras of creators and 5 different eras of costumes, 5 different eras of stylistic choices, while all making it pretty cohesive and still grounded in his art style. I love that, and it's not an easy feat to accomplish. Major props to Ty Templeton for that. I really liked what he did in this series. As for my rating, it's a 5-issue series. It's pretty cut and dry and pretty quaint. No major big arcs happen. There's nothing I really disliked. So my rating, I give it a 9.2 out of 10. It's really solid, really great character writing, such distinct voices for these two, and also such a great relationship. You can understand why, they are the best friends in the Marvel Universe, and I think they are deserving of more time together. So I love seeing Johnny Storm and Peter Parker working together in a series like this. I think this is exactly what an anthology series should be. It's so heartfelt, so character driven. You don't need to know anything going into this. Yeah, I highly recommend. It's actually been combined in a trade, as I don't know if it's still in print, but combined in a trade of Dan Slott's The Thing run. So it's like a 13-issue trade of his 8 issues on The Thing and 5-issue series of this. Really solid. It's called The Thing and Human Torch by Dan Slott. And then he wrote Fantastic Four for like 57 issues. So go check those out. If you've read this series, leave me a comment. Tell me what you thought. My name's Cameron. I don't just read comics. I love them. Please clobber those like and subscribe buttons. I'll see you guys next time.